Nigeria's call obey. To see the Nigeria of our dreams emerge, there is an urgent need to return to the values that makes us a great nation. Drawing inspiration from the national anthem, this book titled Nigeria's Call Obey by Adeniyi Adekunle analyzes our anthem and enumerates the values contained in the anthem as values that make great. Our national anthem contains a common hope, a singular objective, and a compelling aspiration for our future. If we all individually and collectively respond to the message in the national anthem, we would have a very good chance at creating the new Nigeria we so desire.
Thank you for joining us today. As we conclude this series on man and his relationship with the material world, we want to look at what it means to be mastered by the material things of this world. Last time we looked at the life of George Washington Carver, and it was an example of someone who had mastered the material things of this world. And we saw his wonderful life and his wonderful end. I want to look at somebody who did not know how to master the material things of this world and was mastered by those things. Now, let's read in our Bible in the book of Luke chapter 7, verse 32. Luke chapter 17. Luke chapter 17, verse 32. It simply says, remember Lot's wife. I'll read that again. Luke chapter 17, verse 32. Very short, just 3 words. Remember Lot's wife. Why would the Bible take just one verse and talk about Lot's wife? Just 3 words. Remember Lot's wife. Who is Lot's wife? What is there to remember about Lot's wife? Now, we need to go back to the book of Genesis chapter 19 to see who Lot's wife really is. The Bible talks about Lot and his family living in a city called Sodom, and the city was so terrible and given to idolatry and all sorts of terrible living that God had decided to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And God told Abraham about it and said, listen, I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. But he made a commitment to save Lot because of Abraham. So God sent angels into Sodom and Gomorrah, and the angels told Lot and his family, get everything, get yourself, get your family together, and get out of this city, because we cannot destroy this city as long as you're there. So Lot got his family, got everybody, and made it out of the city. Now remember that when Lot chose the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, that's back in Genesis 13, Lot was a big man. He was a very successful farmer. He had livestock, he had camels, he had donkeys, he had all those things. So Lot was a big man. He went into Sodom and Gomorrah big and rich, and obviously he must have thrived in that city. And at this time, God was saying, Lot, get out of that city, no investment, nothing. The only thing you can take is your life and probably the clothes that you had on. And as you go, the angels told him, don't look back for anything. And Saul took his family, and they began to run out of the city. As we're running out, for some reason, and I think Lot must have been guarding his family. Don't look back, don't look back, don't look back. But as they were going, they could hear the fire coming down from heaven, burning the city, burning everything. And in their mind, they were like, oh, our house we just built is burning up. Oh, my car is burning up. Oh, my investment, my money in the bank, everything is burning up. And as those things were burning up, I could see Mrs. Lot's heart too burning up. Her mind too was being consumed. My lace, my clothes, this, that, and that. And as she began to think of those things, she took her mind off what God said, that don't look back for anything. As she began to think of her things back in Sodom, her mind went after those things. She looked back and she died. She became a pillar of salt. And that's the sad end of people that do not know how to handle the material things of this world. That Mrs. Lot was safe already. She was safe already. And like they normally say, once there's life, there's hope. These things came out of you. You are the one that brought these things. You can always recreate it. And the God that saved you can bring these things back. But Mrs. Lot was consumed. Her mind was in things. She's someone that could not sleep or do anything except for things. That was all that was. She couldn't even be bothered about her life. And she looked back and she died. And that's the challenge when you don't know how to master the material things of this world. That a lot of times we sacrifice the most important things for the material things of this world. How many people are suffering in the hospital, sick and dying because in a bid to work and make money, they compromise their health? How many people have children that are wayward now who are causing trouble because in a bid to provide the legitimate things of this life, a good standard of living. Those who they were trying to live for were getting lost. How many people have compromised relationships? They've lost their marriage, they've lost their integrity, they've lost some things because they did not know how to handle the material things of this world. So in Jesus telling us in that simple place, remember Lot's wife, what he was saying was this: this is the way it ends for people that do not know how to master the material things of this world. It's a sorry case, but we see it happen over and over again. We'll take a break right now, and we're back after them. Please don't go away.
Experience God's life, light, and love as you join our church family this Sunday at the Helpers House. Venue, Kwoti Event Center, 171 Bagada Oworonshoki Expressway, beside EcoBank, opposite UBS, First Federal Bus Stop, Bagada, Lagos. Time, 9:30 a.m.
The decision on whom to marry is perhaps one of the most important decisions that you can make in life. Unlike any other decision you make in life, the decision on whom to marry has a far-reaching direct impact on your life. Sadly and unfortunately, most people fail to prepare adequately for this all too important life decision. In this book, Before You Say I Do, by Adeniyi Adekunle, you will find points to consider before proceeding to the marriage altar and down-to-earth practical questions to ask yourself before saying, I do.
Welcome back. We're talking about man and his relationship with the material world, and we are looking at the life of Mrs. Lot as the life of somebody who did not know how to manage her relationship with material things of this world, who was mastered by the material things of this world, and her sorry end. Now, the question is this: how do you master the things of this world? How do you master the material things of this world? I'm not too much of a football fan, but those who are football fans taught me that the best form of defense is attack. So if you're not attacking and you're allowing yourself to be attacked, if you're not careful, very soon they'll break through your attack and they're going to win you. So the same thing too. You can't just say, I won't be mastered by material things of this world. What are the things you need to do consciously to ensure that you're not mastered, your life is not mastered by the material things of this world? I will be deceiving ourselves to think that the pressure of the material things of this world are not there. They are there everywhere around us. School fees to pay. And the truth is this: a lot of them are legitimate needs. They're not bad things. You need to pay your school fees. You need to pay your house rent. You need to move around. You need to look good. You need to eat well. You need to live in a decent environment. You need to, and you see, but sometimes the material things to do things are not just there. So we are trying to run to keep body and soul together. We are trying to keep all these things together. And sometimes we just cross the lines without knowing. So how can we ensure that we stay within that safe zone where the material things of this world do not consume us? Let's go to our Bibles, 2 Corinthians chapter 10. I'll start reading from verse 4. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 from verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for the pulling down of strongholds. Verse 5. We cast down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. I'll read verse 5 again. Casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. What was Paul trying to say here? He was trying to help us understand the dynamics of how the material things of this world build up in our lives. He said they come as arguments. They come as thoughts. What will I do about my house rent now? What will I do about my house rent? My salary is 200,000 naira. My house rent is 700,000 naira. I still have children's school fees to pay. My grandmother's burial is coming up. My wife's sister's brother is getting married. How am I supposed to balance all these things? And you begin to have those arguments on the inside. I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't know this, I don't know that. And if you lose at that point of argument, if in your mental arguments, in your thoughts, you cross the line and say, oh, I can go to the office, there are some contracts I need to sign. If I just move the zeros, then I can add something to myself. Or all the list of clients that are coming that needs things, if I make it a bit difficult for them and they, they have to pacify me to get this done, then I can get some money. And so you begin to cross those lines that you're not supposed to cross. Why? Because at the point of those arguments, you didn't stop them. At those thoughts level, you didn't stop them. That's where Mrs. Lot missed it. When God told her, don't look back, when her mind was trying to begin to drift, she should have pulled it back. And what Paul said is that you cast out those thoughts. You bring down those thoughts, you bring down those arguments, you bring down those things, and you bring them to the place where they obey Christ. What he was saying is this: don't let anything in your life be above your thoughts for God. He said you bring everything. You must continuously and consciously begin to bring every thought down to the obedience of Christ. That the moment anything in your life tries to lift up itself and be more important, any material thing at all tries to become more important than God, is trading dangerous circle. What he said you should do is this: cast it down. Genesis chapter 4, we see the introduction of two young men, Cain and Abel, his brother. And they brought things to God, incidentally material things. Cain brought his crops from his farm. Abel brought sheep. And for some reason, God accepted what Abel brought and rejected what Cain brought. And Cain was getting angry. And God said to Cain, and verse 7, I'm going to read it, verse 6 and 7, Genesis 4, 6 and 7. God said to Cain, why are you angry? Why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, you'll be accepted. And if you do not do well, sin lies at your door, and its desire is for you, but you must rule over it. What God was saying to Cain was this: that listen, Cain, you're already walking a very tight rope. You're already walking in a dangerous place, and the devil is trying to take advantage of you. He said, but you're not at the devil's mercy. You can master what the devil is trying to do to you. Cast down those thoughts, cast down everything. Now, Cain did not listen, and he lost it, and he was taken out. So God is saying, listen, whatever it is the devil is trying to use against you in your thought life, by those mental arguments, he says, like he said to Cain, master it, cast it down. You must consciously, I try to every day, particularly before I go to my bed at night, try to detox my mind. What are the things I've related within the course of the day? I try to cleanse my mind of all this. What are the things I've heard on the news? What are the things I've heard people say? What are the things and I try to cleanse my mind, renew my mind, and get these things out. That is the way you ensure that your life is not consumed by the material things of this world. It is God's desire for us to rule over material things. It's God's desire that nothing in this world except God rules over us. I pray that God will give you grace, God will give you mercy and strength to walk as king, walk in dominion over the material things of this world, that as we saw things respond to Jesus, that they will respond to you in the name of Jesus. As we saw the material things, like we saw the nuts respond to the life of Kava, that what your own nut is, that area that will cause you to stand out and rule your world, God will show it to you in Jesus' name. Thank you so much for joining us this week. God bless you and give you peace. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.
I'm back, bigger and better. In a world full of pressures on all sides, many people experience some form of setback at some point or the other in life. While some setbacks can easily be overcome, many others can knock the best of men out of the game of life and bring them to a place where they never have the courage to get back up and fulfill their dreams and aspirations. In this book, I'm Bigger and Better by Adeniyi Adekunle, learn scriptural strategies that will help you turn setbacks into comebacks, help you rise every time you fall, and help you fulfill your dreams and aspirations.